Welcome to another enlightening episode of Inner Power Insights, where we explore the realms of personal growth, spirituality, and empowerment. Today, we have two extraordinary guests who are pioneers in the world of crystal healing and holistic wellness. Joining us are Heather Askinosie and Timmi Jandro, the brilliant minds behind Energy Muse. Heather is a respected crystal expert with over 30 years of experience in healing, feng shui, and manifestation coaching. She infuses her wisdom into Energy Muse products to help individuals connect with their highest paths. Timmi complements Heather's expertise with her business acumen, co-authoring books and leading the business side of Energy Muse. Together, they have inspired millions on their journey of positive transformation, providing simple, practical rituals that make it easy to incorporate the energy of crystals into daily life. Their work has been featured in various media outlets, and they have received glowing testimonials from notable figures like Gabrielle Bernstein and Colette Baron-Reid. In this episode, we'll dive deep into their personal journeys, the transformative power of crystals, and how you can incorporate these ancient tools into your daily life. So, get ready to unlock the secrets of crystal healing and discover how you can elevate your inner power with the wisdom of Heather Askinosie and Timmi Jandro. Let's dive in.
Heather and Timmi, welcome to Inner Power Insights. I'm so excited to have you guys here today with me.
It's an honor to be with you today. I know Heather and I are just like in awe of being in your presence. So thank you so much for having us on and being able to tell our story and how we started Energy Muse. We're going on 25 years next year.
Wow.
Crazy.
Let's not talk about our age, right?
I know. We were like in our teens when we started, Valerie.
And that is my first question. That is I do know about your story, but I definitely want listeners to know that. When did your loves start for crystal for both of you? I know you guys were very young, but tell us the story.
Okay, well, so Heather actually inspired me. Heather and I have been friends for over 5 decades. So now you kind of know how old we are. And she had a deep love and understanding of crystals, and she had been kind of, I'll say, dabbling into the energy of them. And would you say I was kind of your human guinea pig? You worked on me a little
Probably.
bit. And working with the energy, how did it feel when crystals were on you, and massage and just layouts and gridding. And I knew nothing about crystals. I mean, absolutely nothing. My background was the garment industry. So I was selling all of the big box retailers like Walmart, Sears, JCPenney's, Mervyn's. And I'm like, what the heck is she into? But I'll try it. I've always been open. That's one thing I'll say about myself. That's a good quality. But anyway, when I got out of the garment industry, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a very lucrative position as a woman in an industry that's really male dominated, at least back in the 80s and 90s. It was great, but I was traveling up a storm. I was completely burnt out, and I had actually just had it. And Heather can talk a little bit more about her story, but she came up with a piece called Prosperity, and she gave it to me. I was one of 10 people, and I said, you know what, I'll wear it. And literally, Valerie, it was so crazy. People would come up and go, oh my God, what are you wearing? I can't believe this. What is that? Can I touch it? And I'm like, it's prosperity. When you put an intention into wearing the crystals, you get a result. And so the result was I loved the energy so much, probably even the reactions, that I thought, if I know nothing about crystals and I'm getting this kind of good energy, we could help a lot of people. So with my background in the garment industry, I said, Heather, would you like to join forces with your expertise in crystals? We can make jewelry and sell it to people, and they can have the same effect. So that's really how it started. 25.
Wow.
Yeah. So, looking back, thank you for that question, because I'm like, whoa, I'm going into a parallel reality of 25 years ago. I think the one consistent for me is I've always been a seeker of truth. I'm very into finding, as of now, as we're in the new paradigm of the world, that's after November 19th, we're now in the age of Aquarius, which we're leading from the heart instead of, unwiring from the mind. So for me, at, a younger age, crystals were something for me that were something pretty. They were something that if I couldn't go to Israel, or I couldn't go to Africa, or I couldn't travel to these places, I could have a piece of the earth that came from these different countries. And I could hold them in my hand and I could feel the resonance of different lands. And for me, that's what connected me to the earth. It wasn't just, obviously there was an energy about Mother Earth, but it was about the history. And wait, I'm holding something that could be hundreds of thousands of years old and could have seen so many things. And I wasn't brought up like, oh, my mom and dad were not like, go out there and be a crystal healer. You go, girl. It wasn't like that. So my background was I was selling high-end real estate. I had a Fortune 500 guy come in and said, look, I'm going to buy a ton of real estate from you, but you better know feng shui. Now, this was 20 some odd years ago, and I don't know if you are familiar, but feng shui is this art and science of energy, right? So I went and learned feng shui. I was in a room with a lot of men, a lot of Chinese men, and it was all based on mathematical sequences. So I learned that there was an energetic science to energy that could go into this now 25 years later, goes into a mathematical sequence. And isn't that how the world talks to us, how the universe talks to us in numbers and symbols? And it's so rich if we pay attention. But at that point for me, crystals were a way for me to connect to something that took me out of my head and into my heart. And 20 some odd years ago, I know now that sounds normal, but back then I was like, what's happening to me? I don't know what's happening to me, but I like what's happening to me because I'm like opening up, and I want to have other people feel like I feel. And this might sound odd, but maybe not. When I got around crystals, I must have had lifetimes as an alchemist. I don't even know how I knew how to do what I did, but I always knew how to put crystals together to create a formula. And one of my gifts was being able to make formulas for people that they can wear on their body and because I'm a researcher, I like to see results. Like, it's all great. Hey, this is awesome. But like, I like to track things. Like, what happened after you putting the power back into the person like you do, is, when you put your wish, intention, and prayer behind yourself every single day, what did you create in your life by wearing this tool of our peace? But the crystal was like the key that unlocked the door, but it was the human who became empowered into their personal grace that changed their life. And so the combination of human will, intention, forthrightness, determination, empowerment, and crystalline structured energy of Mother Earth, it's a really powerful winning combo. And I could honestly say this today, it works 100% of the time. And you know this better than all of us, because you could be our crystalline muse, is that when you believe and you take action and you move forward, it's going to work.
And commit.
It's going to work.
And commit.
Mhm.
No, I'm glad that you brought the points that, like you said, number one, crystal, I just love the prettiness of it. God, my God, is so pretty. So a lot of people were attracted to crystal because of the prettiness, regardless of what they knew about it or not. And like you said, back in the days, it wasn't as common that understanding people say that, oh, okay, crystal have energy, but they didn't know how to use it. And
Yes.
nobody, like you said, grew up and say that I'm going to be crystal specialist. Because back in the days, they're like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Right. And then now, thank God, is becoming more and more common. People understanding it and people using it and people seeing result. And that's what makes it so special. And we got so many requests because people were like, okay, well, why don't we talk about crystal? Why don't we talk about crystal? And I said, I can't have anybody better than you two coming over here and having your background stories, that how you started genuinely, like you said, you had no idea, but see the power yourself. You used it yourself first, and then you see how it worked on yourself. And then you're like, wow, I can spread that to people and people can get the same energy and idea. Now, when it goes to back to having piece of jewelry as a crystal, for me, it's like, as we grew up, everybody has their comfort place, right? Comfort. Some people, kids grow up with a little blanket. Other people have a jewelry. Now, even in the therapy, people use the tabbing method
Mm-hmm.
in order to calm themselves down, things like that. So crystal is the luxury level of that. When you put it on a piece of jewelry on your body, it just has comfort, gives you that comfort that you are so empowered. You're not alone. You have somebody watching over you, that you can accomplish anything you want in life. And that's what crystal to me represents,
Mm-hmm.
because you're in your own little world with this piece of jewelry or a piece of stone, like you said, from hundreds and hundred years ago, from all over the world, that we can't even, some places you can't even go. And you have that peace within yourself, which is so amazing, right? That's to me, that's the definition of a crystal, which is a lot of people looking at it these days and saying to themselves, I want to have that. I want to have that. And we got so many requests, I kid you not, that they wanted to have the crystal and they have a question too. So for the listeners, I'm new in the crystal world. I love the prettiness of it. I know about the energy. I know about all of that. If they purchase a crystal from you, what is the first thing they should do when they come home and open it, from the box?
So one of the things I feel like Timmi and I's, and it's our grace, it's our gift, it's our, offering is that since we've done this for 25 years, what we found is that people like formulas and structures. And if people can have something that they do immediately, thank you, like what's step one, what's step two, and what's step three, then it demystifies that it's like you have to be at a certain level to get a certain result. If you have a heart and a mind and you have intention, you're ready to go. It's going to work, right? But what we do at Energy Muse that I really do feel that's different than every other crystal company, and I could confidently say this, is that when crystals come into Energy Muse, we have 24 hours a day. We have mantras, different sound frequencies, different vibrations, and we change them often seasonally. That when you have a crystalline structure and it has sound frequency, it's going to change the molecular energy of a stone. Every single day before we exit the building, we have our whole building is smudged, it is cleansed, it is purified. So when you come into our corporate space, you are coming into, it's very important for us, and it's the number one thing I want people to know about crystals. You have to have clean energy, okay? And like sometimes like we walk into somebody's house, or you could walk in your house and you'd be like, oh my God, it's so clean. But is it energetically clean? And that's what I mean about like, has someone been sick? Has there been fighting? Have you had people in your house? Have you had a party? Has there been construction people? Everything leaves an energetic blueprint in your space. So if you're not clearing it with smudge or sound frequency, and you have crystals in your location, I just want to say this before we step back to step one. What happens is that crystals they don't judge, hey, this is a good experience or this is a bad experience. They're just going to amplify and absorb what's going on in a space. So that's why sometimes people are like, hey, I have crystals, but something seems off or things don't seem like this. It's because you've got to, I look at them as energetic technology. You can't just put them on a bookshelf and leave it there for 5 years and not expect like anything. You got to dust, you got to clean, you got to rinse, you got to take care of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's a sideline thing. But what I want you to know is that when you buy a piece of Energy Muse, it's been cleansed, it's been energized, it has sound frequency in it. So lucky for you, when you buy one of our pieces, you can just put it on. Now, I don't know about other crystal companies, and there's amazing crystal companies out there, but I would always say step one would be to cleanse and purify it. But with ours at Energy Muse, we've done that for you. Step two is whatever you're working with, a crystal or a pendant or whatever, you hold it in your hand and you give your crystal a job. You give it a purpose. You make an intention. Hey, I'm putting this on for prosperity. May this make me more aware of my lack and limitation. May this bring to my awareness what I could do to blah, blah, blah with my life. You make an intention and then you stick with it every single day for 21 days and track what happens while you're wearing it. Now, it's not all unicorns and rainbows, because life isn't unicorn and rainbows. Sometimes things will come up. You'll have something will come up to your awareness, and a block will come up that maybe needs to be released to help open something else up. But if you wear, or when you wear the jewelry, something will happen. usually within 7, 14, or 21 days.
And I think it's important too, because you had mentioned a word like luxury. It's luxury to have crystals as part of your allies, let's say, within your empowerment and change. And I think what we do really well at Energy Muse is we have different levels of entry. So you may not go right to jewelry. You may go to a crystal that you can wear in your bra, in your pocket, or carry it in your purse, or have it on your desk or next to your bedside, that you're talking less than $5 investment. So I don't want people to feel that anyone can't get into the crystal world and have them around you as energy helpers and tools, because it can start from a very modest start up to a very high end. It just kind of depends where you are on your journey.
I think the luxury part is that to have, whether, like you said, whether it's a small piece or a big piece,
Yes.
that it just such a nice piece of thing, whatever you feel of it, is to have it at home. Because and another thing, that once you get one, you get addicted to it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, not to go with the colors, but you just like, you have, okay, then I have another one, I have another one. And I know some people have a lot of them, and they keep getting it, keep getting it, keep getting it. But let's go to the point that you said, that the cleanliness, I think, is so important, because cleaning your energy. Now I know, I love that about that. I looked at that when you do 24 hours cleansing and putting all this meditation and everything. Would they have to prep their home before they bring it as well? Kind of like, get rid of that bad energy, knowing that your crystal's coming in, just to clear that up, right?
No, okay, so at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys have ever have you sometimes in life, when you're like, I gotta go clean out my closet,
Right.
like you got a whole bunch of new clothes,
Coming in, yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm putting all these pretty new clothes, but I'm in my closet that's really all cluttered, right?
Right.
So sometimes what happens is that sometimes the inspiration of bringing in these beautiful crystals sometimes inspires us to be like, you know what, I want to clean up my act, like sometimes they're the inspiration, like, that couple new dresses that you put into your closet. You know what? It's time for me to take a couple dresses out and make room and reorganize this place, right?
Okay.
So I look at it like it's always the right time. Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I mean? So if the crystals coming in are an inspiration to be like, okay, now I'm going to take my game to the next level, then so be it. If you have them and then want to do it. But I definitely, this is what I have found out from doing this for over 30 years. Clean energy and location, okay? And I'm talking like, so this is what I know. It took me 8 hours to energetically clean my house. Now, if you were to come into my house, you'd be like, God, everything's super clean here. But what I'm talking about is for me to go in and really look at my altars. Have I dusted them lately? Have I changed out my intentions? Is the sand in my sand? Yeah, I'm talking when you want to go to those details, right? Have I looked at my plants? Is there, like, I was like scanning, I had a lot of dead, but really you look at the details, okay? And that's when if you want to make energetic shifts, we got to go into the macro and the micro. But if you want to change your life today, cleanse your house with smudge. We have a prayer that, so I worked with a medicine man, Bobby Lake Tommy recently. I'm still whatever. A medicine man that I worked with for many, many years. And he, a lot of people were like, Heather, you can't be saying this and this, I think, for appropriation and this and that. And I'm like, well, I'm 15% Native American, and I've studied with a medicine man for 20 years, and he says that I can say the word smudge and this and that. And he's also given me a prayer that you can say, that he's letting us, republish. So this prayer that we have is something that you can do. It's an offering. It's not like you have to, but it gives you a guideline. But I will say that if you cleanse your place with smudge or sacred smoke or whatever, and you say this prayer, and you do it 3 times a week for 3 times within 7 days, and you go in with intention, you will have an energetic shift. Okay. And then add crystals. The whole world of energy right now, and Timmi will share the prayer with you, it's a layering game. If you go at changing your energy field with just one modality, the old world you could do that in the new world of like we're moving at light speed now. Have you felt that? The timeline
Yeah.
right now. So unless we're working with crystals in light speed, which is what Timmi and I's whole platform is for 2025, it's the new world of crystals. How do you work with crystals in the new world of high-tech technology? Because
Yes.
they are, I'm getting chills right now. They are high-tech technology. They were just playing, and we were playing with them in an energetic field of where we are, but we're in a high frequency vibrational state of evolution. And so if
Right.
we know how to play that, unlock that quantum game within the structure of a crystal, we can then work at light speed. But this prayer is a prayer that it's in our book. If you email us on our Instagram at Energy Muse,
I'll
we'll
put our
give
link
it
for
to you
sure.
for free. It's a free gig. It's powerful. Use it at your discretion. If you love it, great, use it. If you don't, then don't, but it's really a good one.
So one thing I just want to mention too, and I think it's important, like with Heather and I, she could have done all of that, but if I'm not doing it also, it
Yeah.
affects our business. So
Absolutely.
not only we've got to be on the same journey, path, commitment, and then do it at the office too, because energy can be off balance if we don't. So in 2017, we took about a year of our lives to write Crystal Muse. And Crystal Muse right now, we're trying to get some more back in print. So like Heather said, you can get this prayer, which is amazing. So
And stay tuned for that. Yes.
as you're clearing and you're using sage to clear your space, you're going to read this prayer.
Now, this is his prayer, guys. I want to just, because there's some things that, not to offend anyone, we are saying the prayer exactly how it was given. So,
And that's how he's
Okay.
okay, so just,
okay. Great creator, the four powers of the universe and all my relations and good spirits in nature. I come before you in a humble manner and I ask for your help. The way I understand it, you put this medicine on the earth from the beginning of creation to help human beings. This medicine is used to purify our mind, body, soul, aura, and environment where I now stand. I therefore ask that you accept this medicine and purify me or anyone else standing close to you as family and friends, Heather and Valerie. I ask that you remove all bad spirits, all bad forces, all ghosts and deceased people, or any evil entities and negative energies. I ask that you remove all fear, pain, and sickness, and do not let them return.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
open your
That's-
I
window.
have the chills.
Yeah, open your windows whenever you smudge.
Yeah.
You always, if you're gonna clear, like saying his prayer, you go to the front door, you take your sage. We have great sage here at Energy Muse. We've got like different varieties, but you go counterclockwise throughout your whole entire house, the bedrooms, the closets, open up the kitchen cabinets,
corners.
everything,
Yeah.
okay? Counterclockwise, then you go back from the front door and you go the other way. You could do Palo Santo or any of your incense, and then you bring in energy of what you let go of. You always fill the void with something that you want to bring in. So sometimes this might be labor intensive, but it is a half an hour worth of energy clearing worth releasing a block to financial abundance, love, illness, having a breakthrough in some way. It's the best energetic investment you can make.
Well, first of all, that prayer is so beautiful, but I think thank you so much for sharing that, because a lot of people ask us, so once I have my crystal, what should I say? How to prompt my crystals? And a lot of people don't know. Yes, it's great that like we have a desire or we have, manifestation, but there has to be a mutual ground for cleanness and your pure energy in order to prompt your crystal. And the reason I'm so glad you cleared it up, because we got a lot of emails that some people are living with other people, or some people are like living with people that are like, they don't want to live, but unfortunately right now they have to. So one of the question was that, okay, so if I'm in my room, I'm great. I'm in my room, but it's like outside of my room, there's other people living with me that I'm not too crazy about. So I'm glad that you cleared that up, that no matter what it is, as long as your intention, your energies, and the place that you are, it doesn't matter. You have to make sure that's the area that you can focus on. And the prayers is really intentionally center you and speak to you, that is for you and for your crystal.
Also, another easy hack, because at the end of the day, we have to make this easy, right? So
Right.
say somebody was like, oh my God, I'm living with roommates and I don't have time to smoke my house out. What can I do? I got to take a shower. I got 5 minutes and get to work. So you get your phone and you play some like megahertz music or ohms or some high frequency music and just put that on. You got music playing, you're showering up, and now you've cleansed your room. Do you see that? You're double
Yeah.
doing things. So in a perfect world, if we have time, but if you're living with roommates, you might not be able to do that in a home with
They might
other
not like the
people.
smoke.
So there's
Yeah.
sprays, we have Palo Santo spray and different sprays, but also, you might want to program a black tourmaline and put that by your bedroom door and be like, I use this black tourmaline and I program it, its molecular structure inside to hold the frequency of protection and shield my entire room. So
Great.
here's a couple, we have to be practical, okay? And we love all this stuff, but since we've been doing, thank you for these questions, because there's always remedies.
But this is what's great too. So Crystal 365, we wrote Crystal Muse in 2017. A few years later, Heather put into a very easy way of working with crystals, what crystals do, the energies, combos of crystals, protecting your house. What crystals would you use? Super easy, beautiful pictures, because we all like the beauty of crystals, right?
I do.
Coping with depression or anxiety. Those are things that are real right now, right?
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what to do.
Which
Super.
we definitely talk about. Yes. So the book is definitely, I wrote the book name, and yes, these are the little things that, thank you so much, because I want people to know how to, because they're so powerful, to get the full effect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Right.
try to keep it easy humbly as leaders in this industry. I think Heather and I coming in again as two women, starting our business almost 25 years
In a
ago.
male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Here. And I think we've trailblazed for many other women to be a part of this industry and business. And that was what we were hoping to
Well,
empower.
you know what they say, which is my favorite thing to share with everybody, is that in feng shui, the last 20 years was the year of the middle-aged male. So you saw the rise of, Amazon and Bezos and Elon Musk and all these. So the next 20 years, according to feng shui, we're in number 9, is the year of the woman, like of the female, the divine feminine, this energy just permeating.
We have a lot
And
of them
yeah,
behind us.
yes, exactly. So it's exciting. Our time has come, and how it's seeped into the reality is through love, right? And so
Oh my
not
God.
that men aren't loved, but like this merging of all the male and female, and the really richness coming to the forefront. And Mother Earth, I think, is part of that. So
Yeah.
and being next year, being a 9-year numerology wise, is a very humanitarian year, and a year of us awakening, this soon the awakening. And I think that we're going to see a lot of profound healing happening on Mother Earth in the upcoming times.
I mean, people are feeling it. People are feeling it, and it's almost undeniable.
Yeah.
It just
Exciting
shift
time.
happened. Yes, a shift happened. People definitely can feel it, and I know for fact, as a woman now coming up, and we are coming up, and because we're so caring, because we give so much love, you can feel the energy is coming up, and that's an exciting time for people. Now, what are some common symptoms that people have, that you guys been in this industry for a long time, that they use crystal for? Like you said, there's a lot of anxiety going on, a lot of depression, a lot of things like that. What are some commons that you face with, that you recommend people to use what crystal for what?
I feel as of recent, and it's interesting, it goes through like cyclically, I feel like loneliness has been a very, 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 we get a lot of people asking about, feeling lonely, feeling,
Lack of connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
just,
Isolated.
yeah,
Mhm.
isolation. And, it's just, I think a lot of people feeling very, traumatized, or things coming up for them that were maybe old wounds that are starting to surface. So, and also there's a lot of people, more than ever, people looking for things for prosperity and abundance, and not so much just about like, hey, I want to make money, which is great. But I think what I feel the difference between this year and other years is people being like, I want to break through my lack and scarcity consciousness. Like, I want to go to the roots. Like, yes, I want money, but why am I in this pattern, and how can I break this cycle? I don't want to be here anymore. So Even though there's what I think the exciting part of these deeper questions, because when we very first got into crystals, it was very surface, of what
Right.
people look for. And now people are really looking more to go deeper and knowing that they are empowered enough to unravel and untangle old wiring that no longer serves them. And through the use of their mind, their intention, crystals, all the different modalities that they have on there, wearing something that they can become so present to go, not going to do that thought form anymore. I have a choice. What am I going to do? Where we stop ourselves in the midness of it. And that's why I think crystals are so cool. It's like, sometimes I could be like, but if I touch something, I'm like, okay, like you said, tapping. It's that whole thing of that touch, but okay, whoa, I programmed this that I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, go back, so you're walking yourself, you have your time with therapies or whatever you're doing, but you're your own little therapist on a daily basis to stop yourself.
There are
Yeah.
talismans to remind us.
Yeah. And
Well,
so-
that's just a piece of, I know you said that you can have it anywhere that you want, but I feel like piece of jewelry, if anybody can have, is that immediate reaction to bring you back to the present moment.
Yeah.
That, okay, I'm going over there. Okay, come back. And the
back.
minute you see that, if you can associate your feeling to that particular piece of jewelry that you have, whether it's necklace or whatever it is, and wear it at work or anywhere, it's just a reminder to bring yourself to present moment. Because that's one of the things, either we're too anxious of the future, or we dwelling in the past and bringing, like you said, those trauma, it comes up to you. And feeling is very mutual sometimes. That feelings keep coming up and up and up. So this is kind of a reminder to center yourself and say, okay, no, let's not go there. Let's just stay with this new intention that I gave my crystal to, and make that reality come to me. Because like you said, it's really all, you have to give it all. It's just not just that, oh, I have a crystal, everything's going to come to me. Right?
If you have the most important thing is that it's a programmable device, which
Right.
is why every ancient civilization since the beginning of time, if you look into history, every civilization used the energetic technology of crystals. If
Correct.
you look at right now, where's the technology going? I mean, there's like their crystals are in our highest lasers. They're like they're in computer chips. There's what they are. They're AI. I mean, like everything is in this crystalline structure. Okay, so if we're looking at structures of a matrix, of a hologram, of all of these things, those are all programmable structures by whom? Us. So we will experience whatever we program into the structure. So as we evolve past the crystallized, it's being, they're beautiful jewelry, and we realize that this is crystalline structure that is programmable to help create holograms, to help us to change our reality as the creator. What is it as an empowered person that I want to create? Maybe I have something on my body that ain't just a little piece of rock. So if you look at ancient civilizations, I mean, like, if we go past like the vanilla part of like crystal conversation and really
Right.
go into what's happening at light speed in the world of Heather, every ancient civilization, especially the Egyptians, if you look back, there was a lot, they buried people in crystal, what I mean?
Yeah.
The energy was talking to the afterworld,
Mm-hmm.
stop here just above, you know what I mean? It was defining the lines of, it was expansive. And as we work with crystals in the new world of light speed quantum physics, you can use this energetic technology to fast track a lot of things in your life.
Right.
It's
Now there's a lot of a different kind of crystals, and every one of them is by definition has a little definition, and people know about them a little bit. Is there order that we have to start with one and then add on more to it, or you can just have it all together?
well, okay, so Okay, so number one with crystals, this is what I've learned from them. Always trust yourself before anybody else. And the thing is like, and this is the thing about like, let's go with rose quartz. And then I want to answer your question because it's a really good one. So you have a rose quartz, and rose quartz is good for unconditional love.
Love.
Now, I can have a piece of rose quartz, unconditional love, and Timmi could have a piece of rose quartz, unconditional love. But say I'm holding my rose quartz over my heart and Timmy's holding hers over her heart, and it's both unconditional love. But for me, all of a sudden, what comes up is a high school boyfriend that I never forgave. Okay. Okay. For Timmi, what's coming up for you?
It could be something to do with my grandma and that love she gave me and how great it felt.
So the thing about crystals is that, yes, they all have they have a holder, but how they interact with me and how it interacts with her and how it interacts with you, it's going to be completely different. Okay. And so the whole point of it is that like, it's like a food. You want to try different foods to know what works best with your body, because not one food regime works for everybody.
All of it, yeah.
So if you eat everything together, you're not going to know what one really feeds you or depletes you, right? So with crystals, when you're first starting, get to know them. They're like your little friend. Know what happens when you pick up, because when you start holding crystals, a rose quartz is going to feel a lot different than a black tourmaline. They just feel different. Okay. But a rose quartz is going to feel a lot different than a lapis lazuli. So when you start feeling them differently, and then say in the morning you wake up and you're like, I'm feeling a little low, you're going to know which one you want to carry with you, because you know what it feels like, because you've spent time with them individually, just like a good friend. Say you're having one of those days, you know which friend to call, who's going to help you work through it. You know what I mean? You know which friend you're going to call that's going to be like, oh, honey, you got it, girl. I love you. And then you have that friend who's like, just freaking get over it. Or you have that friend, oh my God, you know what I mean? You know what person, that's how it is with stones. That's how you've got to spend time with them to know what is going to feed you.
Some are softer, some are more powerful, and a little bit more cut and dry.
Sometimes when you need to snap out of it, you call that friend, right? Sometimes
Right.
you want a hug, you call your huggy friend. So, I mean, it's the same with stones.
Okay. And then the other thing is that when you give intention, you're bringing them home, you're giving them intention of whatever they're meant to do, and as well as they do. Is it you can give him more than one intention, or you do it one at a time and let that come in and help you with your anxiety, with your depression, with whatever, and then you clean them up and then you start a different intention?
So if we're just talking manifesting, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this are manifestors, okay?
They talk about that a lot.
Yeah. What I have found, and just for me, you know, and once again, I'm researching. I'm one of those people, I got like science projects all over my house, because like, I'm like, well, what's going on here? You know, like, because for me, it's like, I am a busy person. I can't do things that don't work. Like, I gotta, what works? Let's do that. Let's try this, whatever. So what I have found with manifesting is that it's like anything in life. If you do too many things at the same time, you're dispersing your energy. And then if something pops, you really don't know what it is that made it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the thing with manifesting, yes, you can do it that way. But if you take maybe one thing and you really go into the tunnel with it, you know, you go down the journey and you stick with it through the uncomfortable parts, because you'll get past that. Then you're going to have a breakthrough in a lot shorter time. You're going to have a lot more success faster than if you do 3 or 4 things at once, because you dissipate the energy. It's about focused commitment and staying with something even when it's uncomfortable.
Well, and I think it goes back to from the very first start of our business. People are like, I want prosperity and I want grounding and I want love, but we're like, just do one at a time, because you're never going to know what result you got from what piece unless you do one at a time. It's too confusing.
But the thing that's cool about our jewelry is that, like, since I've done this for so long, I know how to put crystals together to create a formula so that what happens is it's working on different energy structures while you're going through it. So
Mhm.
for example, like if
Power's got a lot of different combos.
Okay.
And this is not just like power. It's like maybe power to have the voice to speak, or the power and confidence to go talk in front of people. It could be so many different things. And
yeah, so you're working
Right.
on one theme, but it has different
layer.
layers on it. And so that's what I feel like the new world is about. Yes, you got to stay committed to one theme, but there's going to be multiple layers that emerge from that one theme, that if you're not paying attention to the one theme, you're going to miss the juice of the journey.
But I will go back to
Yeah.
formulas, because Heather, again, I said she's like a human
Yeah.
portal. She
I
knows
can see that.
formulas together. So that is something that's very unique to Energy Muse. You're not going to find those formulas out there anywhere else, and they work.
It's just, I'm about hacking time. Like, if we can do something in 7 to 14 days versus 7 months, I want to do it in 7 to 14 days.
I would do that too. Yeah, I
Okay,
would do
and
that
so
too.
the thing is that I feel like that's what that's what we're known for, is our formulas, and for people to take their power back, take the fragmentation of all the energy that they've left in one place and bring it back together and go, let's go. We are not the brand. Okay, so I'll tell you this. If you're not ready to transform, break through, like have the life you want, we're not your brand. Like we're not
Dabblers.
this jewelry is not designed. It's designed to if you want to go there, for you to have breakthroughs, for you to have everything you want, but you got to clean it up. Like, does that make sense? Clean up the mess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to say that, like, when it comes to manifestation, and a lot of people, like you said, back in the days, on the surface, they wanted to like prosperity and love and all that stuff, but people gotten more deep within themselves. And here's what I noticed: that I'm glad that you mentioned that multiple crystals can do the same thing, but they have layers on it. So, for example, being in a relationship, okay? They feels good, love and all the stuff good, but some people want to set a boundary and they don't have that energy or understanding or the power within themselves to do so. And that's what they want to manifest. They want to manifest to have the courage to set a boundary, right? Or I am so anxious of the future. I feel like I'm not getting whatever that is that I'm not getting. That is the manifestation. They want to have that courage to have a clear mind or clear intention of what is there that I want? What is there? I'm lost. Like you said, loneliness. Why am I so lonely? I have people around me, but I'm still lonely. I feel like I have nobody with me. So I think even the definition of manifestation these days, even with the young adults, change a lot because they know that they don't feel good inside. And that's why you come in. Because like you said, you layer it up, you're like formulating it and you're saying that, hey, it works fast, but you have to put the energy to it. You have to mean it. You have to actually, say, yes, I want to change my life. If you like starting to listen to it and be like, oh, I want money, no, I'm not for you. But if you really want to see real result, this is where you guys come in.
And I'll say half of the stuff of what we do is from our clients of just stuff we're going through. And I feel for me personally is like, it even makes me sad, but I feel like as a woman, I've given my power away for so long that to have it again after working for it, that I know I know how to create that because I lived it, right? And I really feel right now, at least, and maybe that's the people I have around me, like there's a lot of women right now that they were in deep relationships, or they were divorced, or they had such heartbreak, they don't even want to open that door again because they don't want to go through the pain of it. Does that make sense? They don't even want to. The thought of having to open your heart again, to even having even like the trauma of that pain, they'd rather be alone.
It's too vulnerable.
So the thing about now, this energy of now is that when we can reclaim our power, which is kind of a new wiring, I don't even like, it's a new world wiring. That's really, really important. And maybe that's what the new manifestation is not about, it's about us reclaiming our power.
Yeah.
And knowing that we can we really are creators. Like on an intellectual level, like I'm like, oh, I know that, but like on a reality level, it's really the truth. It's just a rewiring of that truth. And so crystals are a way to help you if you want to go deeper and we're at a part in humanity that we can get to the root of our issues right now, but it's not going to be the whole point. I think at least in healing, sometimes we were sold a bill of good. I'm going to say I'm not saying maybe other people had better, that it was going to be this easy like journey of like, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's that day in bed of like, and then just being like, okay, I'm going to let this go and I'm going to unwire it and I'm going to get up again. And then like take that part of yourself and bury it and just go, I don't want to do it. It's just these new tactics that I feel like we have available to us now. Really.
Which is so important now to a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like you said, that they have, what does success mean to them? Is it just like they want to have peace in their mind and calm in their heart?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what they're looking for, because the money and the love and everything. So my part of it is I focus on a lot on identity and self-acceptance. That's my teaching that I do. And I always believe that if you don't know who you are, you're not going to know what you want.
Yep.
I mean, we are designed from a young age, no matter where you come from, what religion, what political view you have, whatever it is, we are given identity by other people. That's not you. And everybody takes different time to realize that, wait a minute, who am I? Like, what do I like? What do I want? And I know I went through that in a late life, because I was in a very young age and my life was designed, and everything that I did was because of someone else. It wasn't even me. So I'm like, what the fuck? I chose to do this, and I suffered the consequences because somebody else's decision. So I became very passionate about telling people that you have to know first and foremost who you are. What do you like? Don't even judge yourself. This is good, this is bad. Let's get to the beginning of who you are. What do you like? What do you don't like? How do you feel about yourself? And then from there, then we can, kind of like build those puzzles and say that, okay, I don't want to do this. I want to work on this. I don't want to work on that. And that's what's so important when it comes to crystal. Like you said, there's different crystal, but once you realize who you are, what do you want, then you can design it. It's like almost like a puzzle. Put them together to see the whole image.
Yep.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So the manifestation these days is more about insight and becoming yourself than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we wanted to from the crystal. So the other thing that people ask me over here, when we clean our crystals intentionally, do we do it all together? Do we do it one at a time? Because one person said that I put it on a circle, I sit in the middle, and I do it with a clapping of a hand
Wow.
down.
Love that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Great.
is that
Down.
the right way to do it?
So I think that the crystals talk to people. I mean, like some people play with Barbies. I used to play with crystals, like, hey, you know what I mean? I heard them. And I think that once people start working with crystals, they start hearing them. And I feel like the woman who sat in the middle and did that is absolutely brilliant, because she listened to her own energetic medicine. She listened to what worked for her. And really, there, like in life, there's always a lot of rules. There's a lot of, guidance. But at the end of the day, this journey is about you knowing exactly what you just said, who you are. So for you, if it means like, hey, I got 10 minutes and I got to do them all together, then that's what you're going to do. For somebody who's been working with one crystal for 3 weeks, maybe they're going to clean it by itself. The thing about crystals is that they awaken something in you that helps you trust yourself. And when you start trusting yourself, then you know that you're on the crystalline path. And that's where the crystals get you. And that's why I have way too many, and I have access to so many, and I keep on getting so many, because what happens is you listen to them and you go on a journey, and it's just awesome. And they'll tell you, or it'll be an exchange of vibrational frequency, and you'll just hear things and know things and see things. And it's so much better than this 3D reality. You're in like a ninth 12th D reality, and it's just awesome. So, and when you get to that point, you know that you're on the ride. You're on that magic carpet ride of the crystalline structure that opens up your energy field, and you never ever can go back. You'll never go back to the old world again, because why would you?
Right. Because once you get introduced to that, it's like,
Why would you, like, it's so much million times better than anything else. Like, and then what happens is sometimes I put them in a drawer just to, like, because I have so many, I have to contain them. And then, like, I open the drawer and it's like, there you are. Oh my God, I haven't seen you. It's just like,
my
it's just
babies.
awesome. It's the best world ever. Being
Well,
in the crystal
Ah,
is the best world ever.
it's like play.
ah.
So,
Yeah.
we forget to play as adults. And so you're playing with Mother Nature every single day. You're in her sandbox of this fun, magical energy. And if you look at it from that point of view, playing is so important for manifesting too.
Oh my God. Yes. Like you said, I love that. As we grow up, we forget how to play, right? Taking some time. What is the biggest misconception when it comes to crystals?
I feel that, I feel like, some, like in anything in the matrix, is things get labeled, right? And so, when we first got into this, there was a lot of labeling of, like, you guys are, doing evil things, and the God doesn't say that crystals are, it became a religious conversation, or like a Wiccan conversation.
Yeah, like you guys are
or
witches. I mean, we'll say it. Yeah, like this is not this is the work of the devil. And we're like, what? We're not praying to the crystals.
And we're like, well, in Revelations 21:20 in the Bible, there's a 12 crystals that line the gates of heaven. And then I'm like, oh my God, like, this is what okay, also, people in the older generation, or maybe our generation, they had to have the scientific research. My daughter and all of her friends, they could care less about all that. Like, they're just like, this is like, it's just interesting to see the different generations and how they approach the
No
crystals.
stigma.
There's no
Yeah.
stigma. They're so much more advanced in their open-mindedness about things. It's just like, you know what I mean? So I feel like crystals got the stigma that, like, it's like, oh, I have a crystal in my hand and it didn't work. Well, no, the crystal didn't work. It's a crystal. You're the one that needs to do the work.
Activating the
Or
crystal.
Wait, this versus you? No, you have the formula wrong. If it doesn't work, it's because you're not working. You're not doing the deeper work. This is consciousness awakening. It's an energy frequency, but it's an exchange of energy. I feel like people, like, put this whole thing on. It just was
I think
weird.
people also felt like, oh, you two are really woo-woo. And actually,
I'm glad. I hope I always stay with.
we were woo-woo to some degree. But you know what? Our publisher, when we wrote our book, they said, you are the bridge between the woo-woo and the now, because crystals were the now. We were just a little bit ahead of the game on making them more mainstream so that people could connect with it and not feel like all the things we just talked about.
And that brings me back to, like, you guys started in a very earlier, that people back then wasn't so familiar with it.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges that you face when it comes to your business when you were trying to establish it, and how did you overcome them?
Well, we can write a book on what not to do in business. And I'm
Probably
going
a
to tell you,
master's degree.
yeah, we have masters in that. We can be a #1 bestseller.
Well, we started out of the trunks of our cars, so we really were just doing it for fun. And that was actually part of the formula. It was play. It was play. We were playfully sharing the crystal information and letting people have their own journey and hearing what they said and then sharing that with others. It was so organic. So once we started going, oh my gosh, this is really a business, that's when the challenge happened, because we had to get ourselves into a logistical structure of business and start hiring people once it wasn't just Heather and I anymore. And, I was never trained to be a manager of people. I was always a salesperson. I love to sell, and I love to sell things that I'm passionate about. And it was, for me, that was very tough. we've also learned after 25 years, you just got to talk to people like you want to be talked to, right? But you also have to have a common goal. And we needed to learn to attract people that believed in our mission. That was super important. So when we didn't resonate with those kinds of people on our team, I think that was challenging because we were kind of going up against different energies.
Well, and also, Timmy and I have been friends since we were 9 years old. So to be in a business for 25 years and we're still friends, like we still hang out, like, you know what I mean? Like our kids are friends. We still will do like holidays together. Like we actually enjoy still being together. I feel like the greatest gift is that we've been able to navigate that through some hard times. And I feel, being completely truthful as like being a business partner and a sister with someone and be able to go through hard times with truth has been a big awakening and a growth. And I feel like the new world business, and we're experiencing it right now, because you go through times where your company goes flat, like where's the innovation, where's the creativity? And it's almost like our business is having a rebirth because we're such a heart-centered, like we're really designing from the heart, making decisions from the heart, and it's changing our business in a really interesting way. And I do think that business in the new world I think that you'll see the successful ones are the ones that navigate from a different frequency than the old world of like, dot, 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 dot. It doesn't work in the new world.
The book.
Yeah, I think new books are being created, and the books that have authentic gratitude, every single, I know that sounds like so hokey, but the more that you focus, it's almost like the key that unlocks the door of abundance. And staying in the like compassion and love and these words that seem like, how could that be abundant? It is the new unlocking of the nectar of creativity. Yeah.
And I would say a challenge for me as I was a lot in my head. That's just how I was raised. I was wired that way. And through 25 years of challenging ups and downs, children having challenges, my marriage having challenges, health challenges, people passing, working with crystals have actually helped me bust open my heart. And I think when you're working with this mind, not this mind, like Heather's saying, huge shift.
Yeah, it's a heart opener, big time. Big
I
time.
think it's admiring because a lot of time when it comes to business, when you start as a friendship is one thing, but when you go to business, it's kind of like a little bit different. A lot of people failed because of their business fails because they don't really, like you said, they're not on the same page. They don't have that communication and they don't have that respect for each other or even understanding for each other. And that's why it flips. And a lot of people don't start with the partner because they're so scared. And you guys are example of that, that if you have clear communication and understanding, and Timmy said, we're on the same page. We have to be in the same page in order to be innovative, in order to be creative, in order to actually push business forward. Because a lot of young adults these days starting a business, they're very scared. And one of the things is, like you said, loneliness. I love that you said loneliness. They feel lonely. They're around people, they're hiring people, but they don't have this connection that you guys have. And I think authenticity matters when it comes to that. No matter who you work with, as long as you're authentic, gratitude, appreciate people that you work with. And then that's the new type of a business that back in the days was like, yeah, okay, no, you have to go A, B, C, D, but it's like, not really though. That's not how it works anymore. So that's another inspiring story that you told our listeners that they have to listen to. No, you don't have to go by A, B, C, D. It comes from the heart.
And you have to trust. I mean, it's just, I feel like what we've learned is that even though sometimes something's brutal, as long as it's honest, like I'd rather have someone tell me the truth versus not the truth. You know what I mean? Even I'd rather go ugly early and you know what I mean? Like, let's go there and then let's figure that out. But then that seems to be a winning formula. It might not be the easiest, like I said, and like rainbows and unicorns, but at least we all have the root, where we're starting. We're all on the same foundation. And
then
where do we go
growth.
from there?
There's growth that happens and expansion.
And this is another thing. If you, this is another thing. I feel like I'm giving crystal disclaimers, but I feel like if you are not ready to grow, evolve, and change, you shouldn't dabble in stones. Like
Wow.
because it is, it's going there. Like, you know what I mean? If you want, be careful what you play with. Be careful what you play with. This
No,
is,
you said that amplify any energy that you have because it can differentiate between good and bad. It just I'm there. I'm just amplifying whatever you're giving to me.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it's a hard pill to swallow.
yeah,
You look
yeah.
at yourself and like, damn, did I have that energy and how did that amplify? Hey, I'm just doing my job.
It's all about ownership,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Right.
oh, wait, if I wasn't blaming somebody else and I took some ownership here, then what would happen?
The
And then
accountability.
that's when things starts really moving fast. When you
Yeah.
get out of the complain and blame and you start looking about, okay, well, what did I maybe contribute to this? That's when the dial starts moving forward.
And I also think they make you feel. So when you're feeling, you're healing and you're working through all this. But also, we were given 2 ears and a mouth, right? So if you listen more, listen to your crystals, more than talking a lot, you're going to feel the energy and you're going to make shifts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can you tell us it's a story, like a story? I know you've been in this business for a long time. Is there a story that you can share that the crystal actually changed somebody's life?
Oh, I mean,
Do we want to talk about the prosperity lottery person?
yeah, I mean, we literally have, I know, and I'm being honest with this. We have thousands and thousands of people that have sent us. It's people get the stories. It's probably one of the reasons why we're still here, because of the stories of people that share their stories. But I feel like one of the, Timmi will share this one story. I think it's really
So
cool.
there was this guy at the beginning of our business who
Yeah.
literally didn't have any money to buy a prosperity piece, which was kind of like our one of the main pieces on our
Main
line
piece.
at that time. And so he goes, "Hey, do you guys do you do layaway?" And we didn't do that. So he would send us cashier's checks for what, 3 months,
Yeah.
finally equaling enough to buy the prosperity necklace. He got it and he won the New York lottery.
Yeah, he did.
Won the New York lottery. So I mean,
That has not happened to me yet, and I really
No.
he used to play the lottery.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, you
yeah.
got to play to pay
Yeah,
or play to win,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just one that it was like out there, but it really happened. So
Yeah, I mean, but we have a lot. Once again, the difference between Energy Muse is we are designed for people to succeed in their own life. We hope to be the muse behind the person to help them unlock the life they've always wanted. And if they work to their goals, they will succeed. We're just a little tool of kind of behind that. You can do it, go,
cheerleaders.
Cheerleader.
So I feel like, if something doesn't work, you're right. It doesn't stand. We're still here standing, what,
The
25?
test of time.
We have,
Mhm.
because, people get results because people are willing to do the work.
But this,
Yeah.
we receive stories from all areas of life:
Yeah.
love, health, marriages, baby births, people getting,
People burying their family members with
Yes.
the stones on them that, you know what I mean? Like that.
or
they
they're
use the word.
four-legged.
People getting pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, just like amazing, miraculous stories.
Well, both of us did
Yeah.
wearing crystals.
So-
Yeah.
So just it's really cool. I mean, and what's great about what you'll find is that if you start wearing the crystals and you have an intention, most people will have their own story, and it happens very quickly.
Mhm.
You'll get your
Oh
own
my
story.
God. I get a lot of like I said, we got a lot of questions today for you guys because I posted in my thing and a lot of people were asking a question. One of the things that they wanted to know, how much time do I give? And I don't think I'm gonna give you that answer of my own. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I don't think we should put a time on it. I think once you set your intention, let the magic happen on its own. But a lot of people said, ask them how long do I have to give them before I receive that manifestation.
So what I've been doing, and I don't, it's a fun game, and most everyone here in our office. So what I do every morning is I will say, hey, universe, this is what I'm, blah, 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 blah. Show me a sign of cherries today or whatever. So every day for the last, I think, 1 month, and I do obscure things like show me a half a thing of butter or whatever. And it's amazing that every single day I will see that sign. And what it does is it's training me to know that I'm interacting with the universe. I just have to pay attention. So most of my days I'm looking around and I'm paying attention. So what we find about time when we're manifesting is it really comes down to how much are we doubting it could happen. And so you'll find that your length of time will be very consistent to your doubt. So when you stop doubting, your time gets shorter. So if you 100% commit to whatever it is and know that it's going to happen, it can happen quickly. So we always say, oh, it's going to happen. No, it can happen quickly. It can happen right away. It can happen now. And so it's a matter of paying attention to our programming. So back to those people and back to what you say, yes, don't put it, it could happen within an hour. It could happen within a couple minutes. It could be a month. It could be whatever somebody's space of where their mind is. It's that box. So when you start playing with the universe to give you a sign, you'll see how it's so easy when you don't have, when you're not attached to something. Does that make sense? You
Yeah.
can see how the universe is always playing with you, but you have to pay attention. And when I went to the cherries, I was thinking, oh, I had to see them in a grocery store to cherries. What happened was somebody handed me a piece of paper and on the bottom it had a cherry on it.
Or you could hear the word
Or
cherry.
the other day I
or
thought
read
it
it.
was pickles and I had ended the day and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to see pickles, whatever. And I looked over and there was like a Carl's Jr. ad and it was a big hamburger and they had 2 pickles in it. And I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, I didn't think it. So it's like, it shows us that we have preconceived notions on how something's going to show up to us. But when we release that, it comes in another way to show us to expand.
There's something
Expand.
better that's possible.
Definitely. So how can somebody incorporate crystal in their daily life to balance their life without knowing all of that, just to have a balance in life, and how that work?
I mean, I think if you think about a crystal coming again from Mother Earth, it's a grounded energy, right? So
Yeah.
when you're working on anything, if you're in a grounded state or you're calm and you're not like spazzing out in your head and worrying about this, that, or the other, you're already in a space of readiness, in my opinion. And then when you put them on with an intention and you go about your day. You might look at them, you might touch them, and then at the end of the day, you take them off, you let them sleep, let them rest, just like you do. I actually put mine in selenite because selenite is a cleansing modality, selenite bowl, which we have at Energy Muse. And the next day, they're ready to start the process again with me. But again, I put them in my bra. I've got things in there now. So it just depends on what you want, how you
Preference of what you want.
Put one on someone who just put it on your nightstand, put it on your body, throw one in your pocket.
Yeah.
With that saying, somebody asked if is it work remotely if I have it at home and give it attention and leave it there, go to work and come back, or should I carry it with me?
I like that. Like the crystal is a remote viewer. Yay. Okay. Yeah.
By locating.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Because yeah, that person could have it at home because the minute that person thought about the crystal at home, they did have it. It's energy. They connected energetically. They plugged into a energetic battery and they got it 100%.
So it doesn't have to be carried, but then when they come back home, they can be
It's
connected in the
nice
energy.
I think if you can touch them, I think there's an exchange of energy,
Energy.
but I don't feel like that's not the only way it can be navigated.
Okay. If somebody's starting a crystal business, what is your advice for them? Now in these days, like I know you guys started like because
Yeah.
very competitive.
Very competitive. It's even more, I would say this year has been one of the more competitive years ever. We've seen a lot of people that are in the industry no longer in the industry. So I wouldn't even know where they would start because I think the whole industry is changing again and we're going to see huge changes next year. Innovation, there's only so many crystals that come out of the earth and they're not always novel finds. So how many of a rose quartz heart do you need? Like you've got to have innovative ways to work with the crystals.
To work.
with different tools. And that's what we're really good at. So I don't know what I would say. It's tough.
But I feel like, you know what, if your heart's into it, you'll find your way.
Your
And
niche.
you know, it's just, you got to go and you got to meet the miners. I think in today's world, there's a lot of fraudulent crystals out there. I mean, and so you need to know who you're buying from. You need to know some of them are ethical, some are not. You gotta, you gotta, it's a interesting, it's a beautiful industry, but it's an industry, you know, you're dealing with other countries. And you have to understand the different ways that different countries do business, but also how they mine. And there's a lot to learn.
I know this question is not fair, but I'm gonna ask anyways. Heather, I'm gonna start with Heather. What's your favorite crystal?
Okay, first of all, you're right.
I know
That's-
it's not.
no, I know. Do you see how I'm like verklempt? I'm like, that's like asking what my favorite child is. Okay,
I
so
know.
okay, so I go through periods. Timmy's probably more stable. I go through periods where I have different crystals based on different times of like what I'm going through that I'll navigate towards. But I guess if I were to say my one consistent crystal is selenite. It's always my consistent because I could lay it on my body. I have it in my bedroom. If I were looking around my house, that's my consistent. It's selenite. It's my good, it's like my little blanket. And I think I like it because it's the highest frequency of light. It's like a light rod. And I'm really into the energy of the galactic light. And so for me, I guess that would be selenite. Yeah.
So right now, I mean, I love
Yeah.
selenite too. It's around my house too, but I'm really into this yellow topaz that I have because it's on my altar and it's got all of these beautiful rainbows. I don't know, I've been like rainbow whispering with my crystals lately. And for me, because my mantra is more about play this coming year, I feel like the rainbows, again, I'm not rainbow and unicorn. It reminds me to play because rainbows to me remind me of like being in Hawaii and that happy place where you are playing. You're in the water, you're in the sun. So it's very abundant for me because it's a golden yellow color. And that I don't know. That's what I'm attracted to right now.
Fair enough. No, but Heather said this is beautiful that if whatever emotion you're going through, I think you can pull one and say what what that is. Um, does it matter when it comes to zodiac sign? Do I have to match my crystal to my zodiac sign or not?
I mean, we do suggest, but don't you have a sun, moon, and rising sign? So you could have a lot of different crystals that you're wearing at any time.
I definitely do feel that I do feel like it's nice to align with your power stone for your sign. I think that there's some vibe there for sure. I definitely I think it's a layer to definitely take a look at, and it's only gonna enhance. Because obviously with any astrological sign, we have our amazing traits about ourselves, and then we have the ones that we kind of want to work with. So I feel that there's certain crystals that can play both fields that can help us with that balancing. Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm buying a crystal for someone that I know they need it for a particular reason. Now, can I buy a crystal and give it intention and then give it to them? Can it
Yeah,
work?
that'd be awesome.
What a nice friend.
Love that person. That's why, I mean, this is the whole thing. Once again, another reason why crystals are the best is that, okay, so the lure is that if you give a piece of turquoise, this just a little thing, if you give a piece of turquoise to somebody who has health, like something with their health, and you put the blessing that, you know, may this bring them extended health, it is said that your blessings and your wish will be 100 magnified towards that person. So why does it only have to be turquoise? And this is the cool thing about crystals. And that's why we think it's the perfect gift always. Because it's like, you're never gonna, how many people have you heard throw away a crystal? I mean, sometimes crystal, they'll be like, I've used it and I give it to the earth, I put it, but most people will keep that crystal.
Or regifting a crystal.
For years and years and years. And every time they look at that crystal, they'll be like, Janet gave that to me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's this gift and the stone that continues to give for years and years and years. But it is the best, Like whenever people get presents with crystals with intention, that's like the best gift ever.
They never
That's
go
what
out
I
of
think.
style.
Oh my
Never.
God, it's the best
No,
gift.
but just the reason, because sometimes you see your loved ones going through something and they're so in it, they don't know it, and you have this intention and you're like, I just want her to get better on this area or that area, and you're going to Crystal and coming to your store and hiring, buying and giving it intention and give it to them, and then I think that's a beautiful thing to do. But they were asking if it works or not, or they have to give their own attention directly to it, intention, in order to work.
But even if
So,
that
but that's
person,
such a
and the thing that's good about crystals is, say that person's like not even into it, but it's a pretty crystal and it's cool. Like they might just put it around them and it'll do what it needs to do, right? I mean, if anything, it's a beautiful thing to look at.
right.
I mean, so on that thing, it'll make them happy just to like to look over and see a sparkly little crystal on the desk.
I'll take that anytime. Yes, that's beautiful. Heather, what does inner power means to you?
Empowerment for me is to just really be in personal ownership, to be so aligned and balanced and in your thing that you're like, I know you don't really care about like what other people think of you or whatever, because it's really about what you think and feel about yourself. And you're in a personal empowerment, you're in your highest vibration and frequency, and you're just a magnet of light. And you are just emitting love, high frequency and light, and you just walk with grace. To me, that is what empowerment is, of just full ownership of just knowing your own personal magnificent and then sending it out to others. No judgment, no agendas. Bam.
Love that.
Superpower unite. Woo!
It's me.
So I would say my empowerment right now has been just being so in line with source, like connection of just knowing that everything's going to be okay always, because I know when I surrender over to knowing that it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And that is very empowering. I'm not worrying about yesterday and I'm not stressing about tomorrow. I am in the present moment knowing all is okay.
That's
And that is
beautiful.
very graceful. Like that is a grace for me too.
Short, sweet, and that's it in the present moment. I thank you both so much for being here. This was so amazing, sharing all these. And I have a lot of questions, but that would take 3 hours for us to keep going. But I wanted to cover the basic as much as possible. And again, thank you so much. Our listener would definitely appreciate your conversation and learn a lot from you guys about crystals.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for doing what you do.
Yes.
Because
thank
you're
you.
an inspiration. You're our muse. So thank
Yeah.
you so much. It's just, it was a pleasure to be in your presence. So thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Inner Power Insights. I hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your journey of personal growth and empowerment. If you enjoyed our conversation, please rate and review us on your favorite platform, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also follow us on social media at Coach Valerie Malone for behind-the-scenes content and updates. For more exclusive content and to support the podcast, consider joining our Patreon community at patreon.com/innerpowerinsights. Your support helps us continue to bring you inspiring stories and expert advice. Remember, your inner power is limitless. Until next time, keep growing and glowing.